If you've ever struggled to grow big, healthy onions in a shorter growing season like Zone 5B or 6, starting them from seed indoors can be a total game changer. Hey everyone, it's Tanya. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Today I'll walk you through why starting onion seeds early is so important, how to choose the best varieties for long-term storage, and exactly how to get them growing strong under grow lights. But first, let's talk about the different ways to grow onions: seeds, sets, and starts, and which one is best for your garden. There are three main ways to grow onions, and each has its pros and cons. First up, we have onion seeds. These take the longest to grow, but they produce the biggest bulbs with the longest storage life. Next up, we have onion sets. These are basically onions that were grown the previous year and then dried out. They sprout faster in the garden, but often result in smaller onions and have a higher chance of bolting, which basically means that they're setting seed too soon in the season. And lastly, we have onion starts. These are young onion plants that were started earlier in the season. They're really convenient, but they don't always bulb up as nicely as onions grown from seed. So if you're looking for onions that store well and grow to their full potential, starting from seeds is the way to go. Now, onions are a bit picky when it comes to daylight hours. Choosing the wrong type for your location can lead to small bulbs or even no bulbs at all, speaking from personal experience. Onions are divided into three categories based on how much daylight they need to form bulbs. First up, we have short day onions. These are best for latitudes 25 to 35 degrees and USDA zones 7 through 10. Florida, Mexico, India, Southeast Asia, these are all perfect examples. They start forming bulbs when daylight reaches right around 10 to 12 hours. Secondly, we have intermediate day onions. These are best for latitudes 32 to 42 degrees and USDA zones 6 to 7. Central US, Spain, and Italy are good examples. They need right around 12 to 14 hours of daylight to form those big bulbs. And lastly, we have long day onions. These are best for latitudes 40 to 55 degrees and USDA zones 3 to 6. Northern US, Canada, and Northern Europe are good examples. These require 14 to 16 hours of daylight to form bulbs. So here in zone 5B/6, we have long summer days. So long day or day neutral onions will perform best. Chicago has a latitude of 41 degrees, and that's where I'm located. So that tells me, based on my location, that intermediate day or day neutral and long day onions are the best options. If I were to plant short day onions in my garden, which I did when I first started gardening, the end result will be smaller bulbs. That's because the plant will start forming bulbs too soon before they've had a chance to put on any size. And that's exactly what happened to me a few years ago when I planted sweet, short day onions in my garden before I knew anything about these categories. Sure enough, I was left with small onions that never really formed size, and I didn't know the underlying cause. I assumed it was gardener's error. Little did I know that it was actually planting the wrong type of onion. I'll be planting a few more varieties of onions as I'm able to order them, but for now, these will do. My goal is to have enough onions to have at least 2 per week based on what my family eats from the prior year's harvest, starting right around mid-July through June, so nearly 1 year. So if I want at least 2 onions per week, I know I want to plant right around 90 to 95 onions. To calculate this, I simply multiplied the number of onions I want per week by the number of weeks that I'd like to have storage for. So in my case, from August to July, which equals right around 11 months or roughly 45 weeks. That gave me right around 90 to 95 onions. Now, since the onion varieties I'm planting today only have a shelf life of right around 6 months, I know that I'll have to chop and freeze some that I'll use for stir fries, soups, and stews later in the fall and winter, which actually works out great because preserving chopped onions works really well using the freezer method. So with all that being said, let's dive into seed starting. For this project, you will need seed starting mix, a potting tray. In this case, this is a really nice potting tray that easily folds, but it does protect any soil that might spill. Here I've got my seed cells. These are 2x2s and these are 36 total. I'll be doing 2 of these today. You'll need a garden marker to label your garden tags. And here for my garden tags, I've got some cutlery, plastic cutlery knives that I've cut and will write my plant name on there. And then of course your seeds. I've gone ahead and pre-moistened my soil, and now I am placing it in the cells, ensuring that there are no air pockets in the cells that really can inhibit the germination. So now that I've completed putting all my soil into the seed cells, now it's planting time. First up, we have the Monastrell seeds. These are from Botanical Interest, and as it says on the packet, these are an intermediate day onion. And what I really like about Botanical Interest packets, they have a wealth of information on the back. Here it says that Monastrell is a late season intermediate day onion, which grows best in 32 to 42 latitude, and I am 41, so that is perfect. It also gives me all of the seed planting information and when to plant it outside versus inside, as well as all of the seed information here. I know I need to plant it at a depth of about 1/4 inch, so let's go ahead and do that. One trick I like to use when planting my seeds is just to use a pencil and insert it to about the tip here, which equals about 1/4 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of them ahead of time, kind of like an assembly line style, and that way I find it goes much faster. And then a good tip too here, if you notice air pockets, go ahead and backfill the soil anywhere that the soil is maybe loose or not filled in the cell all the way. I've found a few spots. I'm going to go ahead and take my seed now, drop it in there, and do that for the rest of them. I'm going to go ahead and cover my seeds, tamp it down so they're in there nice and snug. And now I'm going to insert my plant tag that has the variety on there. And there we go. First seedling tray is done. Next up, we have the Sweet Spanish Utah strain variety. This says it's perfect for sandwich slices, and the days to harvest is right around 115. It doesn't indicate what type of onion it is, but I've done some research on this variety, and I know that it is an intermediate day onion. So I will go ahead and plant it and feel safe planting this in my garden. And the second one is done. Here I have the Sweet Spanish Utah onion. I'm going to go ahead and put this plant tag there, and we are set to go. Before placing your humidity dome, we're going to go ahead and water these in lightly with my mister, just to make sure that the seeds are nice and secure and they really have the ideal conditions for germination. I've gone ahead and placed my humidity dome on this, and let's get these under the lights. Right, here they are under the grow lights. They're pretty secure here. This seed tray I'm noticing is kind of on its last leg. This is likely to be the last season that I'll use this, but overall I'm really happy with these. And here's an update on our geranium seedlings. Several of them are already up and sprouted. Look at that. This is just 7-day germination, so some of these started sprouting within a few days, and in fact, a few more have come up since I checked this morning, so that's a really cool thing to see. Once your onion seeds have sprouted, keep them under grow lights and maintain steady moisture. Trim them to about 4 inches tall every couple of weeks to encourage really strong and sturdy growth. And then right around 8 to 10 weeks later, usually in April, they'll be ready to harden off and move outdoors. So if you're in zone 5B/6 like me, growing onions from seed is absolutely worth it, especially if you pick the right long day varieties for storage. So tell me, what onion varieties are you growing this year? Let me know in the comments below. Also, as a content creator, I try very hard to create content for you, my viewer, that is valuable, informative, and entertaining. So if you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow. Happy gardening, friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.